Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Pooja Sharma, TPO DMS, welcome you all to this very interesting session for today. Today we have with us Mr. Gaurav Bhagat, who is the resource person for this event. Uh, Before we formally start with the event, I would like to give an introduction to Sir. So, Mr. Gaurav Bhagat is a self-made entrepreneur who formally started his company, Consortium Gifts, at the age of 19 years. After having garnered overwhelming success in the business sphere, he has been actively involved towards training large corporates, business owners, and working professionals so that they can achieve their goals and 10 times success as well. Towards this purpose, he has launched the Gaurav Bhagat Academy in the year 2018. It was an organization dedicated to training and mentoring businesses and individuals so that they can enjoy the 10 times life. Gaurav Bhagat Academy is a sales, training, and business mentorship academy which seeks to empower corporates, entrepreneurs, and working professionals to help them fulfill their growth objectives and achieve their sales goals. So, we are very thankful to you, sir, to be joining us today and addressing our students. So we are eagerly waiting for your talk. Even our students are very eager to listen to you and get guided by you. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pooja. It is a pleasure to be here and good to be addressing all the students of the Delhi Metropolitan Education in Noida. And of course, very, very close to where we're based out of as well. And it is a pleasure to be here. So let's get started. I have some content to share. There is a presentation that I'll be running as well. And of course, I know we are cognizant of the fact that we'll be running for about 1 hour. And there will also be Q&A. And of course, definitely do feel free to post your questions. Either you can, of course, when it's Q&A time, you can ask them in person, or you can always put them in chat as well. In fact, lighting up the chat is something that's very, very important because as a coach and a trainer and a speaker, right now, the only feedback I get from you is chat. And for the few cameras that are actually on, it's always a good idea to have your cameras on, by the way. And otherwise, if that's not possible, definitely light up the chat as well. So do type in, where are you signing in from? I'd love to know which cities are you all right now at. I know some of you might be remote, maybe not in person, maybe not everyone's in the Delhi NCR region. So throw that in the chat as well. And I will, of course, get started with what I have for you today as well. Delhi, awesome. Hitat. Corey is from Delhi as well. Super. Mohit from Delhi as well. Good stuff. So like I said, the chat is something that I'll be watching. The chat is something I need a lot of constant engagement on. Otherwise, I know the energy levels may just drop off. And that's not what we want, right? And on this lovely Friday afternoon, I see a lot of Delhi's Aisha, Nitin, Varun, Gaurav. Super. Good to see everyone here as well. So again, thank you for this opportunity. It's great to be here. There's a lot of things that you can learn in terms of theory, but there are some things that come from the practical aspect, which I hope to bring to our conversation today as well. And what we'll be talking about will be a combination of some interesting things that you can start implementing, from today. And we're going to be talking about employability and not just employment, and more on that as we move forward in this session. So really excited to be here with all of you. So of course, a big thank you to the Institute and of course, all of you who've taken out your precious time today. Really, really appreciate that as well. So the last 18 months, and I know many of us, in fact, most of us have probably, been attending our classes and everything else, virtually and all of that. So yes, the last 18 months, they have been chaotic, but the bounce back is already underway. I know everyone's favorite topic today is the stock market. And if you look at the stock markets, I mean, the markets have already had a great run, right? Everyone said everything was finished last year, we were gone. But, just look at what's been happening in terms of the financial markets in India as well. Let's also see what's happening in corporate India. The results of corporate India, have been great. The quarter that has already passed, I know a new quarter is now reporting, but the quarter that had already passed, great results, both in terms of sales and profit after tax. And it's not only in the large companies and the listed companies, but it's also happening across the small caps as well. So the economy is growing. Things are moving forward in the right direction. Yet, and some of you may be aware of these conversations, the world right now is divided into two sets of people. Any sport fans over here? Type out in the chat box, which is your favorite sport? I'd love to know which is your favorite sport, which sport do you really follow? Throw that in the chat box as well. And I can see a few DMs coming in as well. I see some public messages. I see football. I see cricket. Super. Thank you, Yash. Thank you, Ishu. Now, when we talk about these sports, when we talk about cricket and we talk about football, you've got people who are there in the stands, and those people are the spectators. And the spectators are the people, who are there to watch the game. And truly, it's the spectators who always pay. I mean, sure, you could have an uncle, aunt, someone who's in the committee who will get you some free tickets. But normally, a spectator will always have to pay to come to watch the match, right? And then you have the players. And the players, are the boys and girls, the men and women in blue, who are out there in the field, who are playing. And the players will always get paid, right? So the players always get paid, and the spectators are the one that is completely what is happening in our situations as well, right? In corporate India, in working professionals, in a lot of areas, that's exactly what's happening. There are many people who are out there making the action, making the things happen, and there are many who are saying, "Boss, abhi to time nahi hai. Right now, we need to stay back and stand back." And those are the spectators, and they will always pay. So the good news is that we did what was required. And as Plato said many years ago, the first and best victory is to conquer self. Okay, and we have conquered self, and that's great. But also, it's very important to note that the job is not yet done, right? One of the biggest differentiators between the greats and the not so greats, and again, since a lot of cricketers in the house, we'll take an analogy of cricket as well, is that when it really matters, okay, what happens is that the not so greats, they let the ball drop. Okay, like critical moments. South Africa in the World Cup. I mean, why South Africa never won a World Cup? Because things start going wrong, the ball kind of drops. So just like that, the next 6 to 8 months, okay, and the time beyond that is going to be very important, even for all of you as students, very important. And we are going to talk about that, of course, in today's session as well. So the next 6 to 8 months, extremely critical. And superheroes, right? What's your favorite superhero? Throw that in the chat box. I'd love to know what is your favorite superhero. Like, you've got Superman, you've got like Iron Man, you've got the Avengers. Throw out the names of, your favorite superheroes in the chat box. Because just like most superheroes, right? Batman, I love that. Aisha, you hit the nail on the head. Just like most superheroes actually wear capes, right? And there's Batman, like Aisha actually picked out. And, there's Superman. And of course, there's also Supergirl, etc. They wear their capes, right? Captain America. I see a lot of Avengers fans in the house as well. Shaktiman, I like that. Yeah, even Shaktiman has a cape, right? So just like that, it's very important, to move forward with the mindset of capes. CAPES. And I hope some of you are taking notes, because there's going to be a lot of insights starting from right now, even all the way till the end. So capes is the magic formula, right? And some of you are thinking, okay, I mean, capes, GB, what do you mean? All right. So 5 very important aspects that will not only, like I said, create like mega employability and create a mega successful mindset, but a lot of more other things around that as well. Yeah. So the C is consistency. All right. Very often we are like a roller coaster. Okay. Sometimes, we're up, sometimes we're down, sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. And by this, I mean the effort that we're putting in. Okay. The effort, in our academics, the efforts, towards anything that we might be doing, side hustles, etc. We're not consistent. We go up and down. So consistency is something that is very important as well. Number 2 is adaptability, right? Today, things are going just fine. I mean, they were, even if you look at Jan, Feb, everything was looking great. It was looking like we may open, but then the second wave hit. So adaptability was something that's very important. We had to continuously, keep adapting as well. So adaptability is the A. The P is actually persistence. Okay, matlab lage raho. You just have to carry on despite what happens. Okay, you just have to stay persistent, and that goes very like hand in hand with, of course, something called consistency, which we actually started with. The E is the one place, and I'll tell you, in all my years of working with people around the country and the world, the one place where maximum people slip up is this thing called E, which is execution. Okay, we come for classes, we come for webinars, we come for seminars, and I mean the larger population on a whole, and where they slip up is that they learn a lot of things, but they don't go ahead on and implement. If you agree with that, just give me an A in the chat box. That you agree that execution mein log maar kha jate hain. Seekhne ko to bahut kuch hai, but execution is where people actually start going wrong, right? So very important to actually be someone who is an executor. And of course, the last one is S, which is a mindset of success. So you have to have that success mindset. You have to surround yourself, with positive people, people who are thinking, forward, thinking big, thinking about how are they going to really change, the entire economy, the country, and do the amazing things that have to be done in the India of today and tomorrow. So success mindset, right? However, let's also be realistic. Okay, just like the super, heroes have to face some villains, there will be villains that will come in your life as well. Okay, some of you are already facing some of these villains, and just like Batman and the Avengers had to face, Thanos and Catwoman and the Joker and all of that, there will be villains. There will be villains in your life as well. Okay, and these villains would be things like lack of time, like how do I make everything, how do I balance everything, there's not enough time in the day, etc. So lack of time. You will have doubt, okay, that should I follow this path or should I follow that path, am I going on the right track, etc. So thoda bahut doubt bhi hota hai. Then of course you have a breakdown of communication. Okay, breakdown of communication with your parents, with your faculty, with your siblings, with your friends, right? How many of you agree or have suffered with a communication breakdown over the course of last month? Just give me a CB, like communication breakdown, CB in the chat box if that's happened for you as well. It's happened for all of us. It happens on a daily basis. We're not seeing each other. We're not physically there. Sometimes we're just seeing too much of each other, right? So there is obviously a communications breakdown as well. There will be distractions. Someone will say, hey, what, let's not, attend our classes today. Let's go out and do this. And, who has to put your camera on anyway, right? So there will be distractions. And that's happened, of course, as well. And sometimes they will just be overwhelmed. Ki kaise hoga, aage jaake, matlab we now have to start getting into the workforce and all of that. How will we manage this? The demands on us and our time are so much. So there will also be overwhelm as well. And of course, there will be objections. Okay, there will be people who will come up and say certain things to you. So you will hear a lot of objections and a little bit of rejection as well. So every superhero though has some tools that can actually help them. Okay, and this would be Thor, would have the hammer. Batman has his utility belt. Captain America, of course, has his shield. Right. So different superheroes have different tools, and they also have mentors who can help them use those tools better. So Doctor Strange had Tilda. The Jedis had Yoda. And of course, Wonder Woman had her mother and aunt as well. Yeah. So all the superheroes on this call today, appreciate 89 of you who are here today. Do I have your permission to be your trainer and give you the tools that you need to succeed in this journey to be more effective and 10x your life? If I have your permission, give me a PG in the chat box. That means permission granted. So let's see those PGs coming in. Awesome. Thank you. Acknowledging all the people who let the chat box in fire. Like, well done, right? That's the way it should be. Ritika, Aisha, Himanshu, Ditya, Yash, Muskan, again, Yash, Corey, Gaurav, Niharika, Ananta. Yeah. Okay, now there's so many that I can't even. Well done. That's the kind of energy superheroes need, and that's the way it should be. So thank you. And with permission granted, let's move forward. So I'll talk a little bit. आप में से कुछ लोग सोच रहे होंगे मतलब कौन है क्या है क्यों इनकी बातें सुननी चाहिए. So let me tell a little bit about who I am, and we won't go more than 5 to 6 minutes because I have to give you a lot of teaching today as well, and of course we need to talk about the topic in question as well. So at core, I am someone who's a solution finder. Truly what I believe I do. I'm an entrepreneur. I run multiple companies, and hence I was probably chosen for the topic that we have in question today as well. I'm a coach and a trainer. I represent some of the biggest names in the world, and we'll talk about that as well. I am a public speaker. I'm a podcaster. I have the Smashed Bashed Yet Not Dashed podcast and the book coming out by the same name as well, right? My superpower is truly the fact that I can keep things simple, very, very solution focused. I get the job done, and no one gets left behind when they work with us and our programs. And truly, like my wristband says, I do whatever it takes. So truly do whatever it takes to make things happen. But my original story, it started not so long ago, again, in Delhi as well. And I wasn't, much older than some of you may be right now. And I was 19. I was in college in Delhi. I was doing English honors. And one day my dad comes home to me and says that, Gaurav, let's take a walk. And we took this walk. And on the walk, he told me that, he's faced a very, very bad financial situation. And we were actually now bankrupt, actually like ruined, at financial ruin. And of course, a big blow. And I was at the time, it was all about, partying. And in the 90s in Delhi, you had the gungroos and and the Oasis and the fireballs. Where's everyone hanging out at right now? Where are you kids all hanging out at right now? Throw it in the chat box. What are the hotspots right now? So I'd love to know what's happening in the Delhi NCR region. Like, what are the hotspots right now? So similarly, right, I was told that it's now time to step up and do something, right? Employability or employees? So that was the question that really came to my mind. Yash says home, and maybe we can go pre-pandemic also. So I know right now you're not allowed to hang out outside, but let's talk about in the world before the pandemic or the world after, right? Love to know where you guys and girls all hang out. So, had a comfortable upbringing, and the big blow that you hear that, okay, the company and the family is now, out of money. And that's where the journey really started. And I started my first company with 10,000 rupees that was drawn on a credit card. That was actually my starting capital. And interesting times, as a solopreneur, as someone who started out on my own, interesting times, lots of hardship. A lot of that's on my podcast, etc. We won't get into that over here as well. But being a solo entrepreneur wasn't a cakewalk, at all. And a lot of times I would go into organizations and they would always tell me that, you're not good enough, you're not big enough. So a lot of rejection that really, came my way in the early days as well. And of course, the first big break happened when Maruti reached out to us. And this is a company that I ran in the corporate gifting space. And they gave us, our first big break, which was in now all the way back now 20 years. And I truly believe that, someone up there really loved me. There's a lot of, luck involved as well. And, fast forward today, we own and I run perhaps one of the country's largest and most innovative gifting companies, which is Consortium Gifts. And we have some amazing clients and amazing customers. Some of the biggest names in the world, companies that you guys and girls look up to, like the Netflix and the Amex and the BMWs and all of these. So these are just, some of the clients that we actually now work with. And that's just one of, 3 companies, that I run. And of course, today I want to share with you some So we're, of course, in 6 different Indian cities. And that's the place that we're at. And we have an awesome organization with almost 100 people on it. And my other successes are that I'm a part of organizations like BNI, like IGC, and also CII. Right? IGC is something I'm really proud of because this is an organization that now does $1 billion in terms of top line. That's billion with a B. And I'm actually on the board of IGC as well. And of course, in training, counted as amongst one of the better trainers in the country as well, with some other people who are doing some really good work too. And of course, a trainer that's making an impact on thousands. Today, I'm speaking from the Gaurav Bhagat Academy in Noida. And I'm, of course, speaking on stages around the world as well. So one of Grant Cardone's best, and if you follow Grant Cardone, if any of you do, just give me a Y. If you don't know him, give me a DN. So I'd love to see that in the chat box as well. Because Grant is, again, someone who started out from scratch and has gone ahead and created some, good stuff. If you don't, you should perhaps, look up Grant as well. He's an interesting, personality and doing some big things. Yash, thank you for constantly putting it in the chat box as well. Would love to hear from the others as well. There are many of you who are here as well. And that's, of course, Grant and a small video we did together.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, guys? I'm coming to you every day, every week, every month. And then I'm going to actually come over there and see you guys and girls.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We look forward to seeing you.
Love this man right here. He's an awesome guy.
Thank you so much. So Grant is, again, a great example of, employability. Someone who started his first company from scratch, today is on shows like Undercover Billionaire, doing 400 million US in terms of personal net worth and all of that. So inspirational. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Of course, our why at the GBA, which is the organization that I represent. And you should, in fact, you see Grant behind me as well on the green screen. And our why is to become Asia's largest sales training and business mentorship academy by the 15th of May, 2027. Right? Of course, like I said, it's a long story and a lot of it is on my podcast as well. It's called the Smashed, Bashed, Yet Not Dashed podcast, and you'll find it on all the major platforms as well. Right? So like I said, all of this started with me alone from home. It was a long time ago, but interesting journey it has been. And none of this would have happened if I didn't have the mindset. Okay. And that's what we're talking about today of employability. And I want to share certain, traits, certain things, and of course we'll talk about them. And I'll also give you certain things. I have some handouts for everyone today as well, things that you can actually go back on and work on that will change, everything for each and everyone here. So that's what brings me to today. And I want to talk about the top traits of the greats. Okay, like the top things that people are actually going out there and doing that changes everything for them. So let's start with the first of 10. In fact, perhaps I'll have more than 10 for you as well. It's very, very important. Okay, and as you get into your corporate and your professional careers, it's very, very important to invest in this one thing called relationships. Right. In fact, there's one word or two words I want you all to write down, if you can at the moment. Write down the word contact. Okay, CONTACT, contact, and write out the word contract. Okay, CONTRACT. So you have contact and you have contract, right? And now when you look at the difference between contact and contract, okay, the letter R actually stands for relationships. Okay, so it's all very, very important to build strong relationships, with all your stakeholders, with all the people who will be out there, supporting you. These could be your team members, these could be your organizations that you'll be actually working with. So very, very important to focus on relationships. Okay, that's going to be one big aspect, towards making the magic happen. Number two. Okay, the greats, like I said, so I spoke about spectators versus players. Abhi bahut log hain jo bol rahe hain ki boss abhi to time nahi hai, abhi to corona hai, right now is not the time to be out there, creating abundance and creating all of that. Hey, today it can happen, sitting behind your computer with a webcam and a decent internet connection. Agree? Give me an A in the chat box if you agree that great things can be achieved, even on social media with influencers and all of that, and Instagram and YouTube and everything. You don't even have to go out. Right. So why are you saying you're looking and waiting for the economy to improve and all of that? So the greats are never dependent on the economy. They create their own economy. Right. So just be mindful of that. That's something that's very, very important as well. Number three. Okay. Any questions that you have? We will take up all the questions, towards the end 15 minutes as well. So hold on to those questions as well. Very, very important. Okay. The greats, the people who are out there, really crushing things. They're great at starting things, but they're unbelievable at finishing them. Okay, how many of us have sometimes started something and struggled to finish? If you've ever been guilty of that, just give me a G in the chat box. And truth be told, I've been guilty of that as well. If that's ever happened, okay, it's something that we need to be cognizant of, and we need to fix that as well. So good at starting things, unbelievable at finishing them. And it's absolutely okay if you've been guilty of that. It's just that you realize it, and we will, work on fixing that as well. Number four. Okay, and as we move forward, some of you will finish your college. Some of you may have already started, doing a few things on the side as well. But just know this, that treat each and every customer that you have with the highest level of respect. Treat every customer like a millionaire. Like if you want to be a millionaire and you want to be a billionaire, and like I said, you want to crack this thing called, employability and have that impact and have that greatness, it's very, very important to treat everyone with respect and treat everyone like a millionaire. I tell everyone this story of many, many years ago, when I first met this gentleman who ordered 2,000 mouse pads from me, and he didn't have money to pay for those mouse pads. He didn't, and we didn't go crazy. We didn't say, boss, tujhe main dekh lunga, bata dunga, and all of that, right? We just went and we treated him with respect. We treated him like someone who had money. And eventually he came back and spent more money on us than anyone I know. Okay, this gentleman, by the way, is a gentleman called Deep Kalra. Do any of you know who Deep Kalra is in the company he runs? Throw it in the chat box. I'd love to know how many of you know who Deep Kalra is, right? So tremendous amount of respect. It's Make My Trip. So he's the owner of Make My Trip, right? And Make My Trip, and every time, he's speaking somewhere and he sees me in the audience, he'll be, hey, there's the guy who treated me with respect when I didn't have money. So yeah, MMT, 100% Himanshu. So treat everyone with respect, treat them like a millionaire. And when they have their millions, they will come and spend those millions on you. Okay, very, very important as well. Number five, okay, and this is sometimes, called controversial. A lot of people say, boss, utna hi promise karo, jitna aap kar sakte ho. My belief has been that the greatest, okay, the best of the best are people who overpromise. They kind of stretch in terms of when they make a commitment, and then they go out and they deliver even bigger. So they make big promises, but when they deliver like 10x of that as well. So truly, that is the mindset of, some of the greats. I know sometimes people say, boss, under commit karo, phir jab aap thoda extra doge to logon ko acha lagega. Hell no. Okay, if you're already thinking on those lines, then you're already making a mistake. So very, very important, to really go out there and overpromise and overdeliver as well. We all have problems. Okay, this is an important aspect. Important. We all have problems. We all see problems. We'll have those villains. Now, the problems that are there, okay, the bigger the problem you solve, okay, the more there is opportunity, the more there is in terms of payback. There is more of that. Look at companies that have solved big problems. Who, according to you, have been companies or entrepreneurs that have solved big problems in recent times? Throw in the chat box, right? I'd love to know who you think have done some big problem solving in this time, in the course of the last few years, where the payback for them has been fantastic. Throw in some of the companies, throw in some of the names as well. Interestingly, one of those problems is a platform that we're on right now. Like, who had heard of Zoom till 2 years ago, right? Infosys, great example. Thank you for that. Yes, they saw the problem. They saw that there is, an opportunity that lay there, and they went and solved it. And today, look at Infosys. Look at Zoom as a company. 2 years ago, Zoom was a struggling enterprise. Okay, today, Zoom is an organization which has a multi-billion-dollar, valuation. So hence, always look at problems, okay, as opportunities. IKEA, yes, 100%. Thank you for that as well. Goes without saying that the greats will always invest in their education and personal development. Okay, I mean, you all have joined this amazing institution. You're part of this amazing academy where you're going out and you're learning and improving your skills in every possible way. So the greats will always go out there, invest in their education and personal development. I mean, that's one investment. People say, "मैं Reliance में पैसा लगाऊं या HUL में पैसा लगाऊं." I said, "Boss, अपने आप में पैसा लगाओ." Okay, invest in yourself, invest in your growth, invest in your personal development. That's something that's very, very important as well. That will always pay the biggest dividends. Very, very important. Again, when you all make your way towards in companies or running your own companies, you must be convinced that the product that you offer is more valuable than the money that you are asking for. Okay, so product and service, if you think, this is valued at much more and I'm asking for a lesser price, hence, or I'm asking for a price, but I'm delivering 10 times the value. Okay, that is a super, super mindset, to really be having around that as well. Okay, get uncomfortable. Okay, again, if you're writing notes, I'm sure you'll all have the recording. I know some that might be going just a wee bit faster than you'd like, but of course you'll have access to the recording and you can watch and rewatch this for sure. Are we going okay or are we going too fast? Just give me okay if it's okay in the chat box. Awesome. Super. Thank you all for those okays as well. Lovely. So very, very important to get uncomfortable, right? Mediocrity, being average, all of these exist in your comfort zone. All right, little slow, please, Naveed. I'll be cognizant of that. Otherwise, like I said, you will always have the recording as well. So try and be someone who stretches out of your comfort zone, right? Get uncomfortable, try and do more than you already do. I think that's, one thing where the best growth that I have seen for a lot of our students, a lot of our clients, a lot of the people I work with is when they get out of their comfort zone. Okay. Extremely important. And as you again head into the world of, corporate and all of that, you'll see this happen a lot. Okay. People will always be blaming someone else. They'll say, oh, finance messed up, or logistics messed up, or stores messed up, or accounting messed up, or, supply chain messed up, or production messed up. It'll keep happening. Okay. My mantra has always been, okay, never, ever blame others. Always accept responsibility. Okay. And I completely believe this, that if it's to be, it's up to me. Okay. We have to make the magic happen. We can't, be also relying on, external people and external forces. Always, accept responsibility. You want more useful? Just give me yes in the chat box if you want more of these insights, as we move forward, and I'll love to give you some bonuses as well. Awesome. Super. Thank you, Gauri, Yash, Ananta, Muskan. Good stuff. All right. So let me give you some more bonus ones, here as well. So today, when this call was starting, I think I was on by about 2:55 p.m. And at that time, I saw that we had almost 36 people who were already here, right? So the greats, okay, the people who really go out there and make the impact, they show up early and they stay late, right? Yes, the session is supposed to end at 4 o'clock, but there will be people who will stay on, say, you know what, I have some questions, I want to ask you some questions, and hence, they will stretch, they will stay on a little later. So the greats, they show up early and they stay late. It's a great example and a great trait. Punctuality is very, very big for them as well. Invest in making themselves known. Okay, this is something that the greats really do. And today, I mean, the opportunities that you have to do this are tremendous. You've got your Instagram and you've got your Reels and you've got Facebook and you've got I mean all the forums that are there. There's YouTube, there's Clubhouse. So truly invest in making yourselves known. Picking up your phone and recording a content, recording a video, sending out a tweet, it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, but what it does, and you guys and girls should all write down this word, because this is a great word for the future, for your lives. The word is omnipresence. Okay, OMNIPRESCENCE, like so, omnipresence. Okay, so that's a word which is something that everyone should really focus in, because you need to be omnipresent, okay, to stand out in your work that you're going to do, in the enterprises that you're going to run. So omnipresence is something which is extremely, extremely important as well. And like I said, today you can invest in making yourselves known by not putting in anything in terms of money, but a little bit of time and a little bit of innovation, so to speak. Okay, goals, and we're going to talk about this in a short while. I'm also going to give you an amazing goal planning resource as well. But the greatest, and I'm talking about the greatest of the greatest, okay, they write their goals and they act on their goals and they go after those goals with 100% commitment. Okay, very, very important aspect to creating the magic. And of course, like I said, we'll talk a little bit about this as we move forward as well. Never ever give up on an unsold client. Okay, and this is again from the perspective of the employability piece as well, the organizations that you will be a part of. Never ever give up on someone who is not bought from you, okay, or said no to you. Because the point is, a no doesn't, in the case of sales, actually mean a no. There's a very good possibility that just means that right now they're not in a situation to do business with you, but with follow-up and with constant follow-up, the magic will really happen. So never ever give up on unsold clients. And the last one I want to give you amongst the greats before I move into the goal planning piece, and this is very, very important. Okay, and I see this happening with a lot of people. Never ever lower your targets, only increase your action. Right? Never lower your targets. Yes, okay, you set a goal, you missed that goal, that's fine, but don't lower your target. Okay, just increase your action so that next time the outcome and the result is a little different. Right? So we spoke about in point 13 about goals and actions. So let's talk a little bit about that as well, because this is an area where I see even some very successful entrepreneurs, some very large companies, they struggle with this particular thing called goals as well, right? And if there is one thing that will serve as your compass through the ups and downs of life, of which there will be many, you're all very, very young at the moment, but like I said, in due course, there will be ups, there will be downs. The one thing that is going to be your compass, the one thing that's going to be your guide is going to be your goals. And I just wish someone had told this to me 25 years earlier. Okay, it would have been a different conversation, for sure. So everyone here, do you set goals? Okay, give me a G in the chat box if you do set goals, or an NG in case you don't set goals. But either ways, I'm looking forward to seeing 88 Gs or NGs in the chat box as well. And it's okay if you don't set goals, that's fine. We're going to fix that. We're going to fix that as well. There are no wrong answers over here, right? It's all about where we are at the moment. So many people actually do go ahead and set goals. Some people actually don't set goals. And I'll tell you some interesting, facts around that as well. And amazingly, like I said, many students, business owners, even people at large corporations, they don't actually go ahead and set goals. And by goals, I don't mean something that looks something like that, right? Where on the 25th of December, you pull out something and you say, oh, the new year is starting, so let me write down my goals. And then, that book or that paper where you wrote your goals gets misplaced, gets lost. And, then next year, again, you look for that again, and then again, you're cutting it out and rewriting it. So, we will, get fit, we will, do whatever we will do, we will get better grades, and you don't, right? So that's not really the ideal way of setting goals. But unfortunately, most people's goals look exactly like what you saw, in that post-it, and that's why they fail every year, same result. Yeah. And a wise man, and this is a very, very wise man, wiser than perhaps all of us, who are on this call right now. No offense, to anyone here, but he once said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So, if you've always done goal setting the way you used to, or, the way somebody told you and it didn't really work, there's a very good chance that it won't work for you in the future as well. So we have to change things around. We got to do things a little differently. And of course, it's very, very important once you write them. And this is where people maar kha jate hain. Remember how execution, we spoke about that in the beginning. People don't review them and people don't act on them. Right? I mean, we all had our goals. I set my goals. I run multiple companies. I have, multiple things that I have to do as well. So January last year, when I'm doing my annual goal setting exercise, I said, boss, ye karenge, wo karenge. We'll go to these countries, these many conferences, go global. And then the pandemic came, and thanks to the vaccinations and, all the lockdowns, I can't even leave Noida, right? Forget, going global and speaking at those stages. So review is very, very important. Course correction is very, very important. And when people set goals, there's a crazy difference between people who don't set, people who have them only in their heads and people who actually write them as well. So 83% of people, and it's not the 83% here, because good to see how many people are actually setting goals. 83% of people have no goals. Okay, 14% of people have goals, but those goals are only in the head, never written down, never penned down. Only 3% of people actually have written goals. And this 3% is 30 times more successful than people who have no goals, right? Crazy fact. However, it gets even more interesting. There is 1% of the people, okay, the 1% club, which are the people who actually write their goals, they review their goals, they act upon their goals, and they're constantly working with their goals as well. And these people, ladies and gentlemen, are 100 times more successful than people who don't write goals, right? So throw it in the chat box. Which number would you like to be? 1, 3, 14, 83. Throw that in the chat box. Which number would you really like to be? Awesome. Yash already put in the 1%, Muskan the 1%. Awesome. Nitya the 1%, right? Lovely. Nitin the 1%. Super, right? We all should ideally be in the 1% club. And I've tried goal setting a long time, right? My first goal setting book, and this is when I was 16 years old, autumn of 1992, I went to Def Call Market and I bought, from an Archie's gallery, my first goal setting book. And this goal setting book looked something like this, it had a lock and all of that in it. And in that I said, oh, I want, to make a little bit of money. I want to put a little bit of, money in the stock market, etc. Things I wanted to buy. Mobile phones had just come out. The biggest mobile phone was actually, the first mobile phone was as, big as a brick. It was of course way before your time, but some of your parents, and uncles and aunts may remember that as well. Huge device it used to be from Motorola. And then of course, I want to have certain assets. I just saw not very ambitious on the study side of things, but you all should be. That's the reason why you're here. Okay, and of course, have a little bit of goals around where I want to go as well. So my first goal setting book. Of course, followed by diaries, by Excel sheets, a whole bunch of stuff. Living your best year ever planner. This was one resource I used a lot in the early days. There was, of course, Grant Cardone's 10X planner, a super goal setting resource as well. Tom Bailu's impact theory planner, and even some gifts that I got, over the years. So a whole bunch of, things were there. But where it got complicated, okay, where it got, little difficult, is that some of these systems went from really simple to ultra complex. Okay, it was just really hard to figure out, how the process works. Some covered things like weekly goals, but others went to, yearly goals, and there was nothing in between or nothing longer. So something was broken in terms of, the process. Some just asked for so much information that it actually became irrelevant. Right, and I was thinking, I said, boss, matlab goal setting ho rahi hai ki janam patri ban rahi hai, right? It was actually crazy. There was just too much information that was being asked for, and some took too much time to maintain, and some just confused the hell out of me. How many of you been in a situation and agree with any of these statements? Just give me a BT, DT, like been there, done that. If that's ever happened for you in goal setting, that you faced, any of these, problems that you wanted to, but it just didn't work out. Yeah, 100%. So this happens for a lot of people, and good to see that it's happening, even for students as young as you guys, because this is a problem that, large corporates and people at corporates have extensively. So I knew there had to be a better way. There had to be, a better way of, going about, creating this entire, goal setting system and all of that. So in April 2020, I locked myself into a room one day and I said, there has to be a better way to, to do this entire piece. And that's when I created the Scaling with GB, goal setting system. And we'll talk about that. And of course, like I said, I'd love to send that to all of you as well. And I'll tell you exactly how you can get access to that resource as well. So the goal system was accompanied by something called the SWGB Goal Planner. Okay, and that's the picture version of it. And like I said, I'll send this your way to each and every one of you as well, because it's something that's very, very useful. And note this, that when it comes to goal setting, it actually has to happen in 6 areas. Okay, 6 areas are the areas that one should really be goal setting. One of them is work. Now, work for you, of course, at this point of time means your studies, your education and all of that, and what you want to achieve in terms of in your grades at the moment, but also as we start going, 3 years forward, 5 years forward, what do you want to achieve at work in terms of the organizations that you join, the organizations that you set up, so that is one very, very important aspect. So the work aspect is going to be very important when you actually do your goal setting. The second aspect is once there's work, okay, once you're putting in the efforts, once you're doing certain things to grow your company, grow your brand, there's also going to be income. Now, once that income comes in, okay, you will have to have what are called finance goals. And finance goals are where will you invest the money today? Everyone talks about the stock market. Of course, a lot of people talk about crypto as well. Not a proponent of either, but wherever you do want to park your money, it's a good thing because you want to invest for your future, right? For scaling, for creating employability. So finance goals are going to be important. Another one, which is very, very important, is your lifestyle goal. Okay, your lifestyle goal is what is that thing that you're looking to buy? What is that place you want to travel? What is that indulgence you want to, indulge in soon? Like for everyone here, what is that one thing you're looking forward to buying in the next 1 year? Throw it in the chat box. That is your lifestyle goal. Okay, throw that in there. I'd love to know what are you looking to buy in the course of the next year or so. I'd love to know that as well. Number 4 is your mental goal. Okay, and this is going to be about courses that you want to do. This is going to be about things you want to learn, books you want to do, courses you want to take, and it also includes things like charity, spirituality, right? So a mental goal is something that is extremely important as well. The 5th area, okay, is your health goal, because one thing that's really, really important, okay, and we've seen that over the course of at least the last 18 months extensively, is that if health is lost, everything is lost. How many of you agree with that? Just give me an A in the chat box that if health is lost, okay, everything is lost. And so this would be your goals around your ideal weight, your fitness goals, exercise goals, yoga, etc. So all of those things are your health goals. And the last one, okay, is family and relationships, because all the success that you have garnered, all the success that you will create in the future, what is the relationships going to be with people, okay, with your boyfriends, girlfriends, in due course, your spouse, significant others, parents, children, extended family, staff of your organizations, groups that you may be a part of. So family and relationships. So for goal setting to be done right, okay, it actually should be done over 6 areas. So all 6 are on your screen. Good one to take a screenshot of now. So where you've got work, finance, lifestyle, mental health, family and relationships. Okay, so the 6 areas that one should actually be focusing on if you're really looking at creating like fantastic success in life. And like I said, I wish someone had told me this 25 years ago. I think we truly would have been in a different situation and position, far greater than we are even today. A question that I get asked a lot, okay, and this is the fact that people say, so GB, what should be the duration of goals, right? What do you think? How long should goals be for? Just tell me for a sec while I pause to have a sip of water. Throw in the chat box. 3 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. What do you think is the right duration for goals? Yeah, and you can just put that in the chat box. And love to have your thoughts around that. So Nitin's already put in 1 year. Yash is saying nothing specific. Interesting. Yash would like to say that specific is terrific. Okay, that's another good one to write down. It's always good to have a goal with a timeline, a duration till the goal is achieved. I like that. But also know this, that sometimes the goal might take longer to achieve, but super thoughts. And I love where you all coming from as well. Gauri says 3 months. Niharika says depends on where you are and where you want to go. I like that one as well. Muskan says small duration goals that can be achieved easily, and then you will be motivated. Interesting, Muskan. So in the Scaling with GB goals system, which I said I'd like to send to all of you anyways, there are 4 durations actually that we have in this. The shortest of those are actually short-term goals, which are, your 3-month goals. You have your medium-term goals, which are your 1-year goals. You have long-term goals, which are 5-year goals. And finally, you have legacy goals. And legacy goals could be, 10 plus years. For some, maybe even, longer in terms of, what will there be remembered for? What is their legacy? And some of you may be thinking, is it too early to be thinking legacy? Never too early to be thinking of legacy. Okay, it's truly something that you should be thinking about. The sooner the better. Really. I have kids who are young and they're 10 and 14. Even I tell them, I said, you should be thinking about your legacy. Start as soon as possible. That is what creates, right, the magic as well. So legacy will be things like, okay, in due course, what will my kids, nephews, nieces say? What will my brothers and sisters say? What will future generations say? What will my staff say? And what will they write about me after I'm gone? Look at people like, the Steve Jobs. He's passed, but just look at the legacy that he's actually left behind. So that's the mindset you want to be thinking about there as well. Of course, this piece I'll go over a little quickly because I'm also cognizant of the time and I want to keep some time for question and answers as well. The template that comes to each and every one of you will have all of this in detail, especially around, how many goals in each duration, how do you take action? So all of that will be in the planner along with the instructions as well. So normally when we set goals, we set out of those 6 areas. So, you had work, you had finance, you had lifestyle, you had mental, you had health, you had family and relationships, 6 areas, short-term goals, something that you want to crush in 3 months, like Muskan said. Choose any 2 in those 6 months, out of those 6. Okay, so this could be about grades, something that you want to score in your exams. This could be about something that you want to do in terms of travel, make a purchase, relationship that you're looking to fix. All of those, could be possible areas. Medium-term goals, again, 1-year goals, 6 areas, pick 1 goal in each of those 6, right? So that is how medium-term goals work. Long-term goals, in 5 years, most of you will be out there, creating, amazing opportunities at work, creating amazing opportunity in the world of, professional growth and employability, like we were talking about. So what are going to be your 5-year goals? I know sometimes, when you're 17, 18, 19, 20, you're thinking, boss, 5 saal kisne socha hai? But the greats, okay, they plan their goals and they start doing this, well in advance as well. And finally, legacy goals, 10-year goals, pick any 2. So it could be about something that you want to do in terms of the impact that you want to make and leave behind, maybe a book you want to write, maybe become an influencer, become a YouTuber, become a podcaster, become a teacher, become, anything. So those could be around your legacy goals. And of course, as we discussed, just writing these goals will never be enough. You must also have to take some action. Okay, and the goal planners that will come your way, they will all have an area where you can write your actions, what do you want to do in the week ahead, and link that to your goals as well. So that's something that's a very powerful system as well. Truly, like I said, this is the ultimate goal setting system. And of course, I'd like to give this to each and every one of you, all 80 plus of you who are here today. I'd like to give this to you for free as well. It's called the Scaling with GB goal setting system. All I need you to do, for this is, just, follow me on Insta and, follow the Gaurav Bhagat Academy on YouTube, connect with me on LinkedIn. If you are, I'll be happy to help in any opportunities that I can really, create for you. Of course, we'll need a place for us to send the planner to you. And for that, you can just fill out the form and which it's going to have your email ID. And of course, all my social links are there as well. So if you fill out surveymonkey.com/r/GBA college. So Akanksha, who's also here on the call, will just know where to send you your planner. And you should start, like I said, working on this ASAP. Okay, it really, really helps and goes towards, creating the magic that we all, spoke about as well. And like I mentioned this, okay, and I'm going to now come to the Q&A because I'm sure many of you might have certain questions about some of the things that we spoke about, what I shared. And of course, I'd like to spend 15 minutes on Q&A as well. But just know this, that even in the darkest days, okay, it's your goals that are going to keep you on track. Yes, we've had tough times, but yes, we will also overcome and super things are going to happen. I truly believe that the golden age of India is now upon us. I truly believe that what's going to happen in the times ahead, in the, the 5, 10, 15, 20 years, like everyone will come back and say, boss, I wish I was in college, during the time of the pandemic, because when the pandemic was passed, I mean, such magical things happened, and there's opportunity that I was able to cash in on. So truly, the golden age of India is upon us, and your goals will help you, cash in on that for sure. And of course, on a parting note, just want to let you know that we're also having an amazing full day event. It's called Rule 22. So if any of you like to come there, definitely do reach out to us on that as well. In fact, a small video on that, and then we'll come to our Q&A piece as well.
A new year will soon be here, and if we need to crush it and make up for lost time, we need to start planning and implementing now. On this day, starting at 9 a.m. and going till 6 p.m., we will do something that has never been done before. You will all get the Scaling with GB goal planners that we will start filling out there correctly. You'll be assigned accountability partners. You will enter one of the most advanced automated platforms for habit formation, and the bottom line is that there is no way that you will not rule 2022. In case you're out of the country and can't fly in, we'll also have 100 virtual seats available on Zoom so that you can join in from out of town at the comfort of your home as well.
So that's going to be an event that's coming up, and if any of you know anyone who'd like to be there, definitely spread the word. So, that is, Akanksha's put in her details there as well. And of course, social links all there. So I run a room on Clubhouse. If you'd like to come in and, just have a discussion on Clubhouse, I'm there every Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m. And of course, we talk a lot about entrepreneurship and great things at work and all of that as well. So that happens there too. So appreciate everyone's, time for being here. Appreciate the fact that all of you are still here. I know we started out with 80 people. We're still 80 people. So appreciate that as well. And of course, now it's time for Q&A. So ask me anything, and you can either put it in the chat box, or you can actually unmute yourself and ask any questions that you have as well. Like I said, appreciate the fact that you've all patiently been here, taken out your time, and I hope this was useful. If you found what we spoke about today useful, just give me a U in the chat box so that I also know that yes, this is something that was helpful. And of course, looking forward to your questions, which I'd love to answer based on my experiences as well. Awesome, appreciate that. Thank you, Kirat and Yash and Muskan and Shishmita, Riya, Stuti, Aisha, Ananta, Himanshu, Hardik, and Yash again, Prabal, Himanshu, Lakshay, Priyanshu. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate the fact that you're showing the love, and all the views coming in over there as well. Like I said, I wish someone had come in and done this session for me 25 years ago, but I just come in and do what I can. But awesome. Thank you for all those views in the chat box. Corey, Nipun, Niharika, Tanya, Corey, Neeraj, everyone. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, let's take some questions now. And ma'am, Pooja ma'am, over to you. Maybe if there are some questions, we can take those on, and happy to, spend the next 15 minutes on that as well.
Okay, students, so if you have any questions, this is a golden opportunity. Sir is there to hear you out, to guide you. If anything you want him to give you suggestion of, so he's very much here. So you can ask your questions. You can raise your hands. I can unmute you, or you can post your questions in the chat box. I'll read them to sir. Okay, so we are
Yash has
getting
already
few
put in,
questions.
I think Yash has put in his first question already. And he's like, what do you do with moods while doing something, like change in moods from one moment to another? Very, very important question, Yash, and thank you for asking that. And, truly, it's dealing with emotions is a very, very important aspect, especially, when you're in your late teens, early 20s. There is just so much that you are right now, being exposed to in terms of noise, negativity. People haven't been in the best mindset and the best mind frame, so to speak, over the course of the last few months. And yes, there will be times where you will be extremely low, and there'll be times where you'll be completely on fire as well. Right? I call it almost burst to bust mode. Burst is, you come in for a session, you come in for a motivational session, you hear something, YouTube mein apni video dekhi, Maheshwari ki, and all the guys were there, and you're like, boss, ab to halla macha denge, right? Like right now, you're bursting with energy, right? Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and GB and all the big guys. And Then what happens is, you're energetic and you say, okay, amazing. And it's Friday heading into the weekend, then you got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday happens and kai bomb phat gaya, in the sense, I mean, by bomb phat gaya, I mean, like a crisis happens. Your boyfriend didn't call you, or your girlfriend didn't call you, or your parents blew you up, you got, or Pooja ma'am gave you some bad marks in your grades, right? So hence, then you have this situation where you've gone from burst to bust, which is BUST, right? Which is now you're feeling, all low, and you're all feeling dejected, and that energy is gone, and it's kind of hard to bounce back. It's a very interesting topic that we also talk about at some of our programs. In fact, we'll talk about it at Rule 22 as well, is the fact that there are three reasons or three ways where people really go out there and achieve a lot of good things. One of them, and the least reliable of them, is this thing called motivation, right? Because motivation moves like a roller coaster. Sometimes our motivation is really high, and sometimes our motivation is really low. So our performance based on motivation actually works out in not the best ways. And yes, there will be mood swings, and it's hard to control. People try, they do different things. There's a concept of let's just say reward and punishment. Okay, sometimes when you aren't feeling too good, someone come and reward you, and they'll say, oh, here is an incentive for you to do better. Sometimes you might actually be punished. I mean, when in the education system also at times, our teachers would give us a scolding or a dressing down or bad marks. That's kind of, let's just say the punishment side of things. Reward and punishment, I don't know. I mean, to my mind, motivation itself is something which is, not the most reliable. It's a longer conversation. There's more things around this. There are things around your ability, about increasing your ability to becoming more resilient. Like I said, it's a longer conversation, but it's an important aspect to know that there will be burst to bust cycles. It's very, very important to know that motivation alone will not be enough. It's about ability. Okay, and it's also about taking tiny steps towards your goals and what we spoke about today as well. So that is one very, very good way of actually overcoming this one thing called mood swings and all of that. So stay in action, KAPES: consistency, adaptability, persistence, execution, success mindset. Okay, so I hope that helps as well. All right, let's also see some of the other questions that have come in. So again, Yash, it's 100% natural. Like you start something, and then after that, you kind of get lethargic. I always believe that to truly deliver, okay, write down your goals, and your actions must be linked to your goals as well. So let's just say if you have a goal that I want to, get fit, hence, and your goal should have a specific, fitness goal, or, a weight, or how much you want to bench press in the gym, or the amount you want to run. You must always link your actions to your goals. Okay, so that's one aspect which is very, very important as well. And that will keep, the momentum up. You all have the goal planners now, or you will all have the goal planners now. So that's a great way of, keeping yourself in action, okay, and not getting lethargic. So that's going to be one insight, as well. Like I said, it's human nature. It happens to the best of us. When we're in our late teens and early 20s, it happens a little bit more. But again, with consistent and focused action, you can change all of that 100%. But thank you for that question. Good question indeed. Okay, so Ritika has a question which is interesting, and it says that 91% we can't get into a good MBA college. So should we go for it or something else? Again, Ritika, the question that I would like to ask you is, what are your goals? What do you really want, in life? And when I look at some very, very, people who've achieved some good things, I mean, they didn't get their 90s. They didn't create, all those, super crazy grades that you spoke about. They didn't go to the best colleges, but they were still able to go out there and create some magic. But the reason for that is that, again, they went back to their why, they went back to their goals, they went back to their purpose, and they said, okay, in case plan A doesn't work, what is going to be, our plan B? Unfortunately, and I wouldn't wish this on anyone, but I was in college. I was in my first year of college when my dad came back and said that, we're busted. It's time for you to start doing something. And I had no choice. I had to start then, doing some work, creating the gifting company and all of that as well. But it was created by circumstances. So just know this, that it's not the end of the world if you don't get 90%. It's not the end of the world if you don't get into the college that, you should. Sometimes, in life, there will be disappointments. And I think it's very important that one shouldn't get, overwhelmed at that point of time and think that, this is now the end of things. Of course, definitely go out there and try for the best grades, but just know this, that you may not always get them, right? And again, super question. Like I said, Ritika, if one door closes, I always believe another door opens. Okay, that's been a philosophy through life, and it's been in every aspect. It's been in relationships, it's been in work, it's been in with clients. One door opens, one door closes, another one opens. So stay persistent, and again, don't stop throwing in the action. So Ritika, I hope that helps. And and today there's just so much more opportunities that were there. Like I remember when I was in college, and this is now 1995, 96, the options were so limited. You only had a few, institutes that you could go to. We didn't have amazing places like the Delhi Metropolitan, for example, right? Where you guys are all part of. And there are places that have now come up. There are careers that have now come up. I mean, who could have thought that sitting in your homes with your mobile phone, you can actually, be creating Instagram videos and becoming the next Khabi. Has anyone seen Khabi? Okay, here is a guy who doesn't even open his mouth, okay, in the Instagram videos that he creates. And today he's sharing the red carpet. Okay, he's sharing the red carpet with the who's who of the world, right? And it's just an amazing example of the stuff that can happen and the world that we're in today. Like truly, you guys and girls are all super fortunate, to be in the place that you are. And like I said, don't beat yourself up about the fact that something didn't work out as per plan. Things rarely go according to plan. Mike Tyson would always say this, right? And being a boxer, I'm a big fan of Mike Tyson's as well. He says everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. हम सबके पास plan होते हैं, हम सबके पास, we all have our objectives and everything else, but there'll be a hit on the face and everything changes, and then it's about some of the instincts kicking in. So I hope that one helps. All right, let's take a look at some of the other questions that are in. What's your call for people who spend their entire life for a single goal, says Prabal. Prabal, to my mind, a great question again, by the way, but to my mind, my thought process, or the one word that comes to my mind, is incomplete. Right? I know people who are focused on one goal and focused on that one goal only and left everything. मतलब काम पे time देना है तो काम पे time देना है. Like they ignored their health, they ignored their relationships, they ignored their lifestyle, and then they really struggled. So the reason why I said 6 areas and choose goals in all those 6 areas is because that is truly the wheel of life. Okay, that is truly how the maximum success happens. If someone goes all into one thing only and focuses on that one thing only, to my mind, it's incomplete. It's going to lead to problems in other areas. It's going to lead to problems in health. It'll lead to problems in relationships. It'll lead to problems in terms of, mental stress, anxiety, all the things that you can do with less of in this world. So incomplete, right? Don't only go in with one goal. The only guy who goes in with one goal is the villains in the movies where they're saying, boss, matlab usko to matlab harana hai, right? And they're totally focused on that as well. Don't be like that. You need to go all 6. All right, Muskan has put in, what can be the goals for a college student to be in a good position in the coming few years? Super question, Muskan. Again, focus right now on the most immediate thing, which is your education. Okay, focus on what you're doing right now and focus on doing that well. Focus on completing your courses, so that's very, very important. So hence your work goal for everyone should be actually around that at the moment. The other aspects that I think you should really focus in is your mental goals. Develop more as a person. Remember what I said, the best investment you can make is investment in yourself, investing in learning, investing in development. Okay, invest in getting yourselves known. Okay, in a good, positive way. So those are things that are very, very important. Those are some of the things that you should be doing as college students right now. And like I said, you've got your 3-year. I guess most of you are second-year students, right? Is that correct? Most of you are second-year and third-year students.
Second year and third year.
Super. So the point is, some of you will be coming into the professional space now. Some of you will be thinking about again, employability and all our main core subject for today. So yes, you need to think about that. Some of you might go for further education. Some of you might think that, okay, right now I'm going to take a break and enjoy my life a little. That's also fine. So the point is, focus on your 3-month goals, which right now would of course mean scoring the best that you can in your grades. You all have exams coming up, November, December, January, Feb, important months. But also look at your 1-year and your 5-year goals. And some of you thinking, boss, 5 saal kisne sochi hai? Abhi to matlab humko 3 mahine ka samajh nahi aa raha. A lot of people tell me, GB, 5-year goals, too much. I'm like, at least put it down on paper. right? My son is right now in the 9th grade, and I said, write your 5-year goals. And he was like, I don't know. I'm like, whatever comes to your mind. And he's like becoming a YouTube gamer who's going to play, Roblox professionally. I'm like, dude, do it, man. Right. So whatever it is, right? My son, and don't tell my wife this, fails his exams, and I don't go crazy. I'm like, dekha jayega yaar, matlab, enjoy life right now, right? I mean, in the sense, just have the right mindset. So yeah, I think that's stuff that's important as well. Interesting question. This is a direct question, so I won't name the person because maybe the person doesn't want me to name him. But he says, how can we control overthinking? Okay, super question. And the person who posted this is still here. So great question. There is something that people suffer from, and I'm talking about people in general, even older people suffer from, and it's something called POA. Okay, we're writing it down. Write this one down. And POA stands for paralysis of analysis. Okay, always analyzing and over analyzing. Sometimes trying to make it perfect. Sometimes trying to make it like as good as it possibly can, and say until it's perfect, I'm not going to put it out there. Okay, know this, that there is one belief that I have, again, come to much later in life, is that perfection is a failing formula. Okay, you don't need to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It will evolve, with time. So don't overanalyze, don't overthink, don't, suffer from paralysis of analysis. And what paralysis of analysis means is that you're taking so much input, you're thinking so much that you're not acting. The most important thing is the E, which is the execution. The most important thing is to be in action. Okay, that's the most important thing. So try and be someone who doesn't control, doesn't try to think too much. And if you are thinking too much, get out and do things that you enjoy. Have conversations with people that you like. Show up in rooms like come on Clubhouse. I'm there on Tuesdays, 7:30 p.m. Come on Clubhouse. You'll have some amazing people who are there. No one tries to sell anyone anything there. It's just about conversations of positivity, greatness, things that people have done, things that people have not done, their failure stories. Go listen to my podcast. Listen to the Smash Bash Yet Not Dash podcast. See how many failures have happened in life. See what has come out of those failures as well, right? But don't be someone who is not in action. That's something that's very important. All right, you can keep the questions coming because I can go all day, right? I know you guys may have to go somewhere, but we have another question. And all right, this from Yash. It says, first of all, I really like the webinar. My question is, like you said, about people who don't know how to execute the plan. What are the ways and how can you help learn how to execute a plan? Okay, super question, Yash. Again, use the goal planner. The goal planner, along with your goals, has and I couldn't talk about it too much because the session's shorter, but the instructions are all there in the goal planner. It will tell you how to plan a goal, how to plan an action, and how to review and actually go ahead and implement and execute. It is the most phenomenal resource. I mean, we provide it to companies for lakhs and lakhs. Just don't tell the companies that I gave it to you for free. But it's something that is very, very, it's a super resource, and that'll help you as being someone who can actually execute on a plan. And again, it's a larger conversation, but connect with me, send me an email, send me a DM on Instagram. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. In case it's a plan and you need some help on that, DM me on Instagram. I'm Gaurav_GBA. You can get me on Instagram as well. Right. Okay, we have a few more questions that came in. Happy to take them on as well. Okay, again, it's a direct message, so I won't name the person. I have two thoughts in my mind. One says, prepare for civil services or go for an MBA, and I feel stuck. Okay. Again, to this particular person, I ask you to ask yourself this question: what really makes you come alive? What is the thing that you truly want to do? Not something that you want to do because of peer pressure or people around you and all of that. What really makes you come alive? Because the thing that you're most passionate about, the thing that you really feel for, to my mind, is the one that you should really pursue. I mean, that's always been my philosophy, my thought, my teaching to everyone. So choose whichever to you feels right. Don't do an MBA because everyone is doing an MBA, right? Just saying. Don't do civil services because you think that, the civil services are great because there's a super career there. Maybe do the civil services if you think that you want to help, the country in terms of, joining the foreign services or even the police services, or like all the admin stuff that you have as well. If you think that makes you feel alive, I mean, go for it. If you think MBA it is because you want to contribute and give back to corporate, India, corporate world, go for it. But ask yourself the question in terms of, what is it that really makes you come alive. Yeah. Heart over, it's interesting question. I see your follow-up as well. But you're saying my heart says this, my mind says that. I'm not biased here, but probably go with your heart. Okay, it'll probably serve you better in the long term. But have conversations with people. Don't do this because I came and I said this today. Have conversations with people who matter. Tell them what you're thinking. Tell them why. Have conversations with your parents, your guardians, your teachers, your professors, your counselors. Don't just do this because of something that you hear at a webinar. It's very, very important to take opinions, but then do what feels right to you. So I hope that helps as well. All right, we have a couple of more. And how can one be financially independent during his college days? And how can one manage it? Lakshay, that's a great question. And sometimes you may not become financially independent in your college days. Okay, just be very cognizant and mindful of that. When I started, my first organization or my first side business, I was 16 years old. Did I become financially independent? No, but it just took me a little forward, towards some of my goals, some of my aspirations as well. So, I mean, if financial independence is your goal, maybe it has to be a slightly longer term goal. I know many people who are in their 70s and they still haven't achieved financial independence, right? So I don't think it's something that, you should really beat yourself about, but stay in action. I think that's something that's very, very important as well. All right. I know we probably overshot. And I see Seema ma'am here as well. Are we okay in terms of time? Can we still take a few more questions, or are we overshooting now?
Sir, it depends on you if you want to, because right now I can't see any questions in my chat box. I suppose there are a few in yours.
DMs actually. So they're sending us direct messages. So on the chat, so there's a DM option, and probably some of them don't want to, have their names. So they're sending all their questions as DMs as well, which is fine. I'm not naming them for that reason. But okay, let's go for another 10 minutes. Yeah, let's go for another 10 minutes. Like I said, we have 50 people here, and there's a lot of interesting questions. Like I said, don't beat me up. If you get advice which is not in line with what your parents have told you. But yeah, like I said, disclaimer: don't act without talking to people. Like your parents, your guardians, your teachers, your professors. You have some very smart people in the educational institute that you're all a part of. So take their opinions. They have seen life. They know you better than I know you. I've only spent 44 minutes or 1 hour, 14 minutes with you. They've spent a lot longer. So definitely take their things. And yes, you can send me DMs. I won't name you so that I know some of these questions might be a little confidential. Okay, so again, direct message, won't name the person. Do IIMs have place for students scoring in their 90s but below 95? Thank you for that question. Again, not something which is my core domain. I know that in IIMs, it's also about what you score in some of your specialized exams to get into IIMs. I'm sure the CATs, etc. So maybe a career counselor would be a better person to speak to around what happens here. But yeah, definitely have that conversation with them. I barely got through college. I'm the wrong person to be guiding you on an IIM, just by the way. All right. I also see someone who sent a message saying I'm scared of failure because yeah, and it's saying, so someone sent me a message saying I'm scared of failure because they say that agar nahi nikla to kya karoge? Again, I said this earlier as well, that there will be disappointment. I think, that's one of the early lessons that I learned in life. There will be disappointment in the careers that you take or follow, the organization that you set up. Today, everyone says, GB, such a great entrepreneur. Why don't you tell everyone to become an entrepreneur? I'm like, it's not a cakewalk. It's not a walk in the park, right? There's tremendous amount of, rejection, tremendous amount of disappointment. The success rate is down to now maybe 3 out of 10 in a lot of cases. That's a lot of rejection that you might actually have to face, right? So just know this, that there will be disappointment. I've had so many failures in my life. I'm actually writing a book on it, right? So just imagine, my book is called Smashed, Bashed, Yet Not Dashed, because yes, you will be smashed, yes, you will be bashed, but you need to carry on. You need to continue. Okay, like never give in has to be your motto. So that's something that's important. So just know that's something you need to be cognizant of. Yeah, and it's not easy. It's not easy, right? Civil services is a place where there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of things that can happen. Which it may not work according to your plan, but that's okay. Life perhaps has better plans for us. Always know that as well. Okay, another direct message which says, what should be the habit or preference of a person to know if he suits for MBA rather than, I guess, civil services or services. So, I know a little deep while it sounds. There's a video of Simon Sinek. Okay, it's on YouTube. Go and watch that video. It's a 9-minute YouTube video by Simon Sinek, and the video is called "Start with Why." Okay, like, why do you want to do what you want to do, right? And I think Simon Sinek spoke about this in 2009. Look out for that TED talk. And Simon Sinek, Start with Why. That's the one that it is. And there's also a book which is called Start with Why. Once you start having that conversation, and the reason start now, start in your 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old you, because people haven't done this till they're 50, and then I'm not saying it's too late. I mean, Colonel Sanders founded KFC when he was 55 plus. I'm not saying it won't happen then, but agar aapko aaj pata chal raha hai, why would you not do it? So again, try and figure out what is your why, what is your driver, what are your goals. I think that really is something that will help. And once you start putting in some of the work, I know today we covered a lot of stuff, a lot of habits that you could do, a lot of traits of the greats. Go back and watch and rewatch this video, watch and rewatch this conversation that we're having right now as well. I think those are important questions that you need to ask of yourself, and that'll tell you that it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I know that there are a lot of pressure today, and there's a lot of expectations, but just know that it's okay. It's okay, right? It's okay if it doesn't work out. In fact, it's okay. Like, isn't this girl Nightbird? So she was on America's Got Talent. She did this video recently. Look out for Nightbird. And she did a song called It's Okay. She's a girl who's dying of cancer. I don't think she's got much time left now. And go and watch America Got Talent. So the Golden Buzzer audition from this session of America's Got Talent. It's okay, right? So check that out as well. Awesome. So one last question, and then we'll call it quits. Like I said, appreciate the fact that 50 of you are still here, and I hope you found this useful. Like I said, fill out that questionnaire, and so if you can do things better, definitely do that. And Akanksha, of course, will send you the goal planners as well. And what should be the habits of preferences? We got that. Okay, should we do MBA from a regular college or for correspondence by doing jobs side by side? Which one is better and beneficial for us in the future? Okay, thank you for that question as well. Now, again, my belief here is that the fact is that if you get into a good, institution which is surrounded with good people who are there, in person, an ecosystem of success, super. Like I said, surround yourself with like-minded, positive people. So if that happens and you get in there, super. I mean, you guys or girls are already in a great institute. So if that's working for you and you're right now doing your undergrad and you want to follow up with postgrad as well, by all means, right? But sometimes you feel that, okay, now maybe it's time for me to try something on the side and do something by correspondence. I mean, completely your choice. Again, speak to your professors, speak to your counselors, speak to your family members. It's not a decision that you should do like that. But once you've had that conversation, act quickly and let people know why. Okay, let people know why you're taking that path as well. And sometimes you might have to sell them on your decision. Sometimes you may face a little bit of opposition, but if you're convincing enough and if you think that you believe that your choices, I mean, we're all adults now on this call, right? So our choices will influence who we turn out to be in due course. And we need to take responsibility and ownership. I think that's something that's very, very important as well. Lovely. So thank you all. As I said, it was great to be here and answer some of those questions as well. I hope you all found value in what I delivered. Students are very, very passionate, people who need guidance. And of course, I hope with my experience, I can come back and give some of that guidance as well. And yeah, looking forward to staying connected with everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. In fact, it was a very enriching and enlightening session, especially during these days because we only connect with the students online. So we really need some motivation for them to participate in events. And today's session was definitely a lot of enriching and, in fact, inspiring for these students because all those acronyms play a very important role. They get registered in the mind easily, and they can, especially for the goal setting. Advice which you have given, because what our experience has been, most of the students have become so laid back. They are not attending classes because everything is online. They connect, but they do not respond during classes. So this is a constant problem which we all teachers face. So they now need to pull up their socks. And in fact, we are also expecting, hopefully, the colleges will soon open and we are able to see our students. But until then, we also are facing this problem of motivating, keeping them motivated and making them participate in various college activities. So this was a
True that.
very inspiring and enriching session, and hopefully students are now motivated and make certain goals for their lives, which is very important, which we have anyway emphasized a lot. So hopefully students have benefited today, and we also look forward to many more these kinds of webinars from you as well. Let's keep this association for a long term, and we'll definitely get connected with you uh, soon for more such talks. So thank
I
you
look
very much,
forward to
sir,
it.
for sparing my
I
time.
just want to add something at the end. Though I came late because I had some previous engagements, and I think I regret that. I've missed a lot, I guess. The very fact that students are directly sharing and DMing you the messages, that itself shows that it was something very intriguing, and they're quite happy. And normally, I do not find such a response from these students. So I think we will request you some other time also in future.
Yeah, and hopefully in due
Thanks.
course we can actually get to see each other in person and do some events at the institute when things open, and hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. So
Yeah,
I think everyone's
definitely.
tired of being behind computer screens and longs for that connection again. So inshallah, hopefully that'll happen as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Akansha ma'am.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, Rakansh.
Okay, students. So hopefully you have filled the feedback form. So please make sure you have copied the link. I have shared it a couple of times. So copy that link and fill the feedback form. I am ending the session now. So please don't hesitate in attending these sessions. These are very important sessions for you. So we'll be holding more such sessions in future. Make sure you are a part of it.